You're listening to Bookin'-Around-Town with Jacques on the Audio Flow.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Bookin'-Around-Town. Today we are booking around the town of Orlando. And in case you didn't know, Orlando is my favorite city. Did you know that, Heather?
I did not.
It's something about every time I come to Florida and I come to Orlando, it's magical. And it could just be because I'm a big Disney fan. I think that's what it is. So most people that live in Florida don't really care about Disney. It's just the tourist in us, I guess. So while I'm here, we are here at Shameless BookCon, and I have a chance to hang out with the lovely Heather Hildenbrand. Hi, Heather.
Hello.
And Heather is enjoying the weather, too, because she says it's the perfect day in Florida.
Oh, my God, it is. The humidity is like, it left for a little while, and it's not hot, and the breeze, oh, my God, this is amazing. We're sitting out by what are we sitting by? Like a fountain?
It is a fountain with lots of palm trees, and it makes you think you're at a cabana or something, right?
Yeah, I feel really fancy.
It is. And she's drinking something hot, and I don't know why.
I am. It's coffee.
Coffee, and I've got like an infused tea. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, this is funny that we've been knowing each other like a little over maybe 2 or 3 years now.
Yeah.
And it's our first time sitting down and having an official chat. Right?
It is. This is our first official conversation.
This is our official conversation. And so
we got a lot of unofficial conversations.
Yeah. We shared a nice big bed last night, too. So imagine the conversation. No.
I feel like we did things out of order.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we slept together first, and now we're talking.
Oh man!
I always do everything backwards. So
Same.
To me, we're right on track.
We are.
That's right. I'll get to know you later.
That's right.
So, okay. So I actually met Heather at my first book signing, which is
was that your first?
It
signing?
was my very first book signing.
I didn't know that.
It was Carolina Book Fest.
Yeah.
In 2015.
Yes.
2015. So 2 years we've known each other.
Yeah.
And funny story, because Heather likes to tell this story about seeing me go around with this giant suitcase.
Oh my gosh.
And I finally found you.
I know.
And
after walking by me
oh my gosh,
many times.
I did. Amber actually sent me there to pick up some books for her. I think it was
right.
the Dirty Blood series.
It was, yep.
And I was like, where the heck is this girl, this lady? And I knew what you looked like. Yeah. But I just couldn't find it.
And I think that was a kind of more of a crowded signing, because I normally would have time to kind of see people pass by, and I just did not see you. I think I just had people in front of me, but so. And
then I found you, and you and I have been instant buddies since. Yeah. So what's been and I'd like to phrase my questions a little bit differently, because I don't want to say, so when did you start writing? What made you be an author?
Right.
I think there's a journey to it. And so I always like to know, what's the journey been like, or what was that thing that put you on this path to where you are as an author in the industry?
Yeah. Well, my journey, it wasn't long for me, actually, but that's my personality. It was like, once I decided I like something, I was playing around with writing just to like fill some time when I was a stay-at-home mom, and I needed something that didn't involve toddlers and diapers. And so I started for that. But very quickly, I could see that it was something, and when I like something this much and I get passionate about it, I know I'm not going to let it go. So very quickly it became, how can I monetize this? How can I make this my job? So I got serious really fast, and I just read everything I could about publishing and about self-publishing, and that's the other reason why I self-published first, because of my personality, because I didn't want to wait on people, and I wanted, when I make a decision, I'm like, let's do it now. Let's make it happen now.
I'm the same way.
Yeah, and trad publishing is like, let's make it happen in 2 years.
Right.
And it's like, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So it was easy.
And how long ago was that for you?
That was in 2011. I published. So, 2010, I was writing and figuring it out, but by 2011, I had decided.
So you were right on the cusp of the explosion of self-publishing.
I was.
And what are some...
Oh, it was so easy back then. Oh my God, we probably sounded like a bunch of, like we were full of ourselves too, because back then people go, well, what are you doing to sell all these books? And you give some answer, but really you don't know.
Yeah.
It was just happening, you know, it was just, you just put a book out and it was sort of happening. You know, readers could find you easier. It was just easier, you know.
Yeah.
And we didn't know what we didn't know. We didn't know the industry would change like it did. And so, yeah, it was a good time.
So what do you think are some of the things that have been the greatest changes in self-publishing from when you started up until now, the progression?
Like the biggest changes, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, there are so many more books out. So a lot of new authors especially will say that, would probably complain. And their answer would be to that question would be like, oh, all these changes, I can't get found, I can't find readers. But the flip side of that is like, but we have so many more resources. We have self-publishing, it's easier, and it's easier to look professional as a self-published author than it was back then. It's easier to figure things out. You have more resources and people explaining how to do this without looking like an idiot. You know, I mean, when we were doing it, we figured it out as we went. And now there's people telling you, well, do this and don't do this. So there's the flip side. There's for the fact that there's this sea of books now, but there's also like, you know, there's pros for the cons. So I love that. I love that. It's so easy now. And
which series was your first?
Okay, so Dirty Blood is book one in my, I published a book, a standalone, that nobody's ever heard of, and they shouldn't hear of it because it's awful.
Everybody always has that book. That's
I know.
Why I'm like, what was it?
Well, it's not published anymore even because I had book shame for like ever, and so finally I took it down.
Book shame.
So technically, yeah, it was real. Book shame is real. And so that was my first book, and I'm glad that was my first book so that it could suck. And Dirty Blood was a little better because it was my second book, you know.
So you're really not going to tell us what the name of... We can't find it.
You can find it. It's on Goodreads and stuff. It's called Across the Galaxy. It's like a YA sci-fi, you know, alien hiding on our planet kind of thing. Just, you know, it wasn't bad. It was my first book. You know, the story's not bad, but it was my first book. So the writing, you know. But by Dirty Blood, I had started to understand how to write for what everybody wants, but in a different kind of way. Like, be the same, but different. I was starting to learn, like, the marketing side of that and how to appeal to readers. So I think that's why that one did so much better.
Is there a reason why you started with YA versus going straight into adult or new adult?
Yeah. And I could BS you with this long answer, but basically Twilight.
Oh, really? You're one of those people?
I am. Well, because I wasn't reading at all before that. And that book got me to read again. And that's what I hear, you know, everyone that says Twilight, it's because it got them reading again. And so if that was the gateway, you know what I mean? And it was YA, that's where I came in at, was YA.
Okay.
So, and it just took me a little while to work through all the YA. And then I go, okay, well, now I need more choices. So then I kind of branched
a little bit.
And you helped me branch even more, actually.
You crossed the divide. That's what we call that.
T.M. Frazier was the divide for me.
Yeah, she will make it. She made me cross the divide, too, because I didn't really read or listen to a lot of some of the darker.
Right.
And her books tend to be a little bit darker.
They
and I was like, I don't know if I like, but I'm sucked in.
Yeah.
How can I not like it?
I know. Because when I used to read adult, I came up reading like Nora Roberts and Danielle Steele. So those are romance, but they're straight up romance. Right. So like you said, this was, I was like, oh. Right. You know, I wasn't expecting, this is darker. Yeah. And it was like you said, it was like, I don't know if I like this. But I think I like this.
I can't stop, and I love all the characters.
Yeah, definitely.
So Dirty Blood. So I will tell all of my listeners that I was kind of slow on the train because I just finished. Well, no, because I'm still waiting for the last book on audio. But I was
It's coming. It should be published any day now. Yay. It's in processing.
Okay, that makes me happy.
Yes.
You made my day.
Yes.
Yes. So I started with YA.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite genre.
I know.
So, but what I loved about the Dirty Blood series is that it wasn't vampires. Let me just put it out there.
Yeah.
Because I get so I'm sorry, all of my vampire readers and authors, but I just got so tired of seeing vampires. Like,
no, I agree. That's why I didn't do it as a writer.
Yeah, and I love that it had sort of a basis of how you deal with vampires and stuff, but it wasn't vampires, and it was wolves and these people that I grew to love, of course, Alex, everybody. And but I love the story, and I love how they develop over a period of time in the story. And I can hear the difference in your writing from book one up until the end of the story.
Sure, yeah.
And I became an Insta fan of a YA book. So yay you.
I know. I felt like I had made it when you loved it so much because I knew you were a hard sell for YA. So I was like, oh my God, if Jacqueline loves it, it's got to be good.
But it's so funny. I don't want people to base. I just have really different tastes. Like one day I have a favorite YA series.
Yeah.
It's, I have a favorite YA series, and it was the first YA series I read.
Yeah.
And I love it because it dealt with stuff that I like, angels, demons,
What's
and
your
stuff
favorite?
like that. It's the Hush Hush Saga.
Oh my God, I love that one. Yes, I agree. See, those are the kinds of series that I came up after Twilight. That's where I went. I went into like the Hush Hush and like Mortal Instruments and all that stuff too. So
it was the first one I read, and I was like, okay, what can I read now? And so I'm like, Amazon, what else should I read? And so that's how I started. But what I enjoy is finding indie and self-published authors who are very creative and have this voice, and they have this fan base. And so when you and I met, I was like, okay, I need to get on board. And then that's when I got into audio, and I was like, I'm probably not going to have time to read it. So it's on audio, yes.
Yeah.
And I sucked it up and waited for each book. I'm like, Heather.
It's taken us forever. In my defense, I'm totally going to call out Kelly right now. And Kelly, if you're listening, we both
Kelly
know.
Pruner.
We both know you're awesome, but there were just bumps in the road. Kelly, it got delayed a few times.
I understand.
We went at our own pace. Let's just say that.
That's fine. I'm a patient girl when it comes to my audiobooks. I'm like, I can wait all day.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that is taking place. And so after that, you have some other books, and so you have the one series that isn't self-published. It's through a publishing house.
Right.
I bought the first book, and then I couldn't get the other books on print.
I know. Listen, write your congressman or something, because I'm asking. So I'm kind of like biding my time. The idea behind that project was, yes, it's for books. It's, for publishing, but it was a digital first contract. So it's only available on Amazon, and it's only available in ebook, except book one has the paperback. And I did that though because it's media. They really bought it from me because they really wanted it to develop it for media, for TV or film. And they're aggressive about that. They're not just, it wasn't just talk. It wasn't just, oh, someday we'd like to do that. It was, no, like it's in the studio right now. They're hiring a script writer, hopefully in Hollywood, that's a lot. You know what I mean? That already is a lot of motion on something. So it was optioned once, and then it expired, and now it's being reshopped, redeveloped, and reshopped. And so hopefully something happens soon. And if that happens, then I know that for merchandising reasons, they would give me paperbacks for the rest. And they would hopefully do like audio and foreign rights and all. We've had an inquiry about foreign rights, so we're just waiting to hear if, what's happening with that.
Tell everybody the name of the series and all three of the books, because I only have the first one.
Okay. So Imitation, it's the Imitation series. So Imitation is book one. Deviation is book two, and Generation is book three.
Okay, tell people a little bit about the story.
Oh, I love this one. Okay, so it really came about because I really wanted a challenge I really wanted to find a character that typically most people wouldn't automatically root for, and then make you root for her. I felt like that was a really cool character challenge to take on. And I don't know. I'm not a sci-fi nerd, so I don't know where this came from. I really don't, it was Jesus. I don't know. Just walking through my library one day, and I saw the section on cloning in the nonfiction section of the library. I was just walking by it, and it was just one of those moments in your life where it was like light bulb. It just immediately hit me. And so the story is about a girl. It's about a world, maybe a little futuristically, where clones exist, and we have the technology, but only the rich and powerful have access or can afford them. So the rest of us nobodies don't even know clones are real. You know, it's a secret, you know, conspiracy. And so like big politicians, if their life is threatened, they send their clone in to do the speech for them, maybe die in their place because that their life is worth that much. So it's about a girl who gets sent to die in place of her human. And that's really what they do. They put her out there because there are death threats, and they put her out there like, well, you're expendable. We'll just let you die and she'll be fine and whatever. So, and the main character is the clone. It's the girl who's sent to die. So you're really rooting for her. Sort of the humans are the enemy, kind of.
Yeah.
It's just felt really cool and different, you know. It was so much fun to write.
The covers, though, I just gotta say, that's what like it just drew me in because they're like white and you just have like these bright blue eyes.
I know.
And I was like, oh my God, I need all of them.
I know.
I sent book 1 to, I think, Tracy Vincent, like as a gift. I had bought her one. And she was like, where's the rest of the series? She's like me, like, can we get the other ones on paperback?
I know. Me too. I've been asking, and so far, because it's an Amazon partnership, and Amazon just doesn't want to do it yet, so we just have to make them. We just have to keep selling the crap out of that book and make it worth their while.
Yeah,
you know?
because it sounds fantastic, and you know, if it's optioned for TV, I mean, now if we look at TV, there's a lot of those type of series that are on TV, and a lot of people are drawn to that. But how nice it would be to have the original set of books on my shelf.
Yeah. Well, and those covers, I love that you love that, and everyone does, because I originally self-published that book first. Book 1 and book 2 were self-published already and out already when my publisher approached me for them. And so I signed the contract. We're doing this, and I had to take my version down, of course, so that we could edit it and they put it back out. And they were going to do a new cover. And I was like, look, you're going to lose people. People are going to be pissed. Like, the cover is so striking and memorable. People love this cover. Please don't change it. Because it was just a stock photo.
Yeah.
It was just, I found it on a stock site, and that we didn't do much to it. It was just like that. And they kept it. They kept it. A major publisher art team was like, yeah, we'll just let her have what she already made on
because
Photoshop.
they look amazing.
I know. So it was like, it was that good that everybody loved it. So... yeah.
So that was your first experience with the whole sci-fi.
Yeah.
Do you want to do any more sci-fi?
Well, probably not, because here's the thing. It's not, they make me call it sci-fi because it's about clones, but I don't explain shit. I don't go into like the technology or anything. It's just a clone who falls in love with a hot guy on a motorcycle. Really, that's what it's about. I mean...
oh, so it's about you?
So, right, exactly, true story. So, I hate when they call it sci-fi because sci-fi people get mad because it's not really hard enough with technology to be real sci-fi.
And it's not paranormal.
And it's not dystopian because it's set as if it could be happening today. It's not futuristic. So, it's kind of weird. It's kind of a hard thing to describe.
So, maybe they would call it that, what's that new one I've heard them call? I have to come back and think of it because...
let me know, because I need a new word.
Yeah.
Because I always want to call it, like, soft sci-fi. But that's not... is that a thing?
Like
that sounds like soft porn. I know. That's why I like it. So, it's that, too. No.
Oh, gosh. No, we can't call it soft anything
or
alternative reality.
It could be, like alternative... not history.
Don't they have something like alternative fiction? It's something. I have to think of it now.
I think I know what you're talking about.
So we'll have to come back to it.
We will, because I need a word.
Yeah, we'll have to come back to it. And so, okay, after that, I know you've got a couple of other things. So we had the contemporary romance that went in. Okay, I know I'm going to put them in the wrong order. It's like a risk worth making, taking. See, and I always mess them up and make them backwards. So how was that experience going from sort of paranormal and alternate reality to contemporary romance?
It was a little hard because I am so used to paranormal, and so I was like, what? I was like, what interesting can even happen to them? Like, I can't have werewolves jumping out of the woods at them.
Well, you could,
I can't have, right. I mean, I was like, I don't have any options. Like, what are my choices? This is so boring. At first, I thought it was going to be boring, truly. And writing sex for the first time was, like, very interesting because I was fade to black. And so I was like, I don't know. It was sort of a writer's block, but it was like my mother's going to read this someday kind of block, you know? So my husband actually wrote my first sex scene.
Did he?
When we were still dating at the time, yeah.
So I know that you also write contemporary romance after you had your stint with the soft sci-fi. and so and again, I always mess up. It's a bet worth making.
Yes,
and
nailed
then,
it.
Yes, because I thought it through in my head. And then it's a risk worth taking.
Yes.
And then you combine them.
Yes.
And did something a little bit different with the marketing because it was 2 books and then you changed it around or something.
I did. Well, because I did a sort of like a publisher. It is a publisher. I did a deal with a publisher for a distribution option through iBooks.
Mm-hmm.
And when they took it over last year, they wanted to repackage it. And so it was their decision. We recovered it, which I had wanted to do anyway. We recovered it.
The covers are hot, though.
I wanted them to be hot because, I mean, you know, that gets attention.
It really does.
So I was going to do that anyway, so that was kind of nice that they just did that. But then they repackaged it into 4. It's, you know, each book is now 2 books. They kind of just split them in half.
Right.
So now it's a total of 4.
And so how was your migration from YA from YA to sort of sci-fi to contemporary romance?
So what do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, what was your thought process? Was it simple to just go straight contemporary after you had done some more paranormal sci-fi type things?
Well, no, because at first, I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous that the books were going to be boring if they were contemporary because I had been writing paranormal and I mean, it's a joke, but it's kind of not that in my Dirty Blood series, whenever I would get stuck on something, I would just kill a character. So when someone dies in Dirty Blood, you know, Heather didn't know what needed to happen next. So I would just kill people and mix it up, right? But in contemporary, you don't have werewolves running around trying to kill each other. So it's like, what do I do? This is going to be so boring. I don't have any options, you know? Like, no plot tricks, you know? But so the plotting was a little bit, I was like, oh, I don't know. But once I got into it, it was great. I really liked it.
So I like Ford.
Yeah.
And so I just want to know, like, what's your... I mean, do you have muses that you kind of think about when you're thinking about your male characters and you're writing them?
Yeah, well, so that story is different. That story is not weird, but it's a special case because my husband and I, we were not married, we were dating, and we were in a terminal relationship. So we were in a relationship, but we both knew that he was leaving to be stationed somewhere else. And when that happened, we were going to break up. And that's kind of what the story of Risk is about. Is they're in a terminal. He's only there short term. They're falling in love, and they're like, you know what? We're just gonna like live in the moment and be together while we can be together. So that was inspired by real life for sure. In fact, Summer got her happy ending before I got my happy ending.
Oh,
like we really did break up, and he really did go and leave, and I finished Risk, you know, during that time. And it's so cheesy and so, I know what you're going to say, but when my now husband, called me up and was like, we should get back together, he said, I'm not going to tell you the line, you got to read the book, but in the end of Risk, he says a line to her, and they get together, and that's what the line my husband used on me, and so I was like, he used the line from my own book, so I was like, okay, you got me, yes, it's yes, you know.
It's kind of like one of those, you had me at her last.
Exactly, that's how
you had me at the last line in my book.
It was great. It was great.
So I would say that you probably wrote your happy ending and then it happened.
Yes.
So you put it on paper.
Life imitating art.
Yeah.
That happens to me all the time, though. It's really weird.
Can you write that I will get like $1 million somewhere?
Yes.
Write that down.
I'm serious. Me and my girlfriend do this all the time because it does. It happens in my book because I'll infuse a lot of the emotional, whatever's happening emotionally in my life right now. That goes into my books a lot. And so a lot of times something will happen that I'm like, oh my God, this is a lot like my books. And when you write paranormal, that's hard to do.
Yeah.
So, you know. So yeah, she's always like, listen, can you write that I want to win the lottery?
Exactly.
And I want to have great hair. And like, so.
And the man needs to look like Alex and, you know.
Yes, I got you.
I'm just saying, I'm just throwing it out there. Okay, and so I know I'm kind of going through a little bit of your history because I think there's a whole story there as part of your journey. And then you decided at some point you were going to write under a pen name because you were going to do more adult things. And so you were temporarily writing as Holly and wanted to go more into adult paranormal and things like that. And so you did did that for a little while, and then you decided you were just going to skip the whole pen name thing and just write as Heather.
Yeah.
So was that a hard choice? Was it an easy choice to just skip the whole pen name thing?
It became easy to, when I finally decided to, like, out myself, because it was too hard to keep the secret.
Yeah.
Because I suck at keeping secrets. I had already told so many people. I was like, it's out of the bag. But really, originally I did the pen name because I did a contract with a publisher, and I did a co-write to launch that pen name with one of their authors. And I had to sign an NDA, and it was all kind of secretive about who, because their author was a pen name, and I'm not ever allowed to say who it was or anything like that. And so it was all very secretive. So I was like, all right, well then, and we all know, like I said, I'm not good at keeping secrets. So I didn't want to have to talk about that. And about them, and that side of it. So I was like, I'll just do a pen name, and then I don't have to talk about that.
Right.
And I don't have to explain that. And so I did it for that reason. And it was good. It was a good thing I did that.
Right.
And then finally, though, it was like, I'd already told so many of my fans and stuff that was me, that I was like, screw it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to tell everyone.
Yeah.
So.
And so are you looking to move more into adult books and kind of straying away from...
Yeah. No more fade to black. Heather's grown up now.
Yes, there's no fading. We're full color here.
Full
we're
color.
like we're the what's the RGB CMYK? Do you know what that is? It's like the color chart.
Oh yes, I do. I was gonna say in living color, and I was already on that mental track. So either one of those.
Well, we like full color, and but you've been busy. But what I like most about following you is that you've still been trying to take some time to just do Heather. And I know that you kind of went through this thing a year or two ago where you just really experienced a burnout, and you just had to redefine what you were going to do. And so what is your advice to people to not get to that point? Because I think the more that we try to work and we have these things, we don't realize that we're burnt until we're burned out.
Yeah.
So what can we do to prevent getting to that point?
Oh man. Well, comparison is a big one. I think I got burnt out because there were a lot of factors for sure. But comparison was a big one, because I would see other authors, and you only see their, you see their best side. You're always comparing someone's best side to your worst. That's really what comparison ends up being. That's why it's toxic, right? So I would see authors that look like, they're putting a book out every 5 seconds. And so there's this, I would put pressure to keep up, and go, oh, look what they're doing and I'm not doing. I need to do this. I need to do more, or whatever. So there was a lot of that. So the comparison turned into pressure. A lot of it just became the pressure. There was pressure from that. There was pressure from, I was the breadwinner at the time. I was, the main income for the house. And when this is my job, this is all I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I let the pressure get to me. So I think taking time to like clear my head and not let that stuff get to me has made a big difference. It became like my whole identity was wrapped up in the fact that I'm an author. Like if I wasn't an author anymore, I don't know who I was.
Yeah.
And that's when it fell apart, when I realized that. And I went home from a book conference and I was crying to my husband, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be an author anymore. Not because I didn't want to write, I wanted to write, but I didn't want that to be my identity. And so I thought in my head, I quit. He's like, you don't quit. And I'm like, I do, I quit. It's like a challenge, know? Like, I do, I'll make sure you believe me. But I still wanted to write. I just didn't want to feel that pressure. Yeah. So I just stopped. I just stopped doing everything. And the cool thing about that is, the cool thing about stopping doing everything is that I realized how much of what I was doing did not matter. Like, I still made money, even though I wasn't on Facebook every day, my books were still selling. Like, my sales didn't change when I stopped doing all the things I told myself I had to do.
Right.
Or authors tell themselves, we have to be present, we have to do this, we have to be on Facebook, we have to do all these things. Like, I stopped doing all that. I literally sat on the rug in my kitchen for like a month. Like, that's all I did. I'm not kidding. And nothing changed, meaning, like, my life didn't implode,
Right.
It went on. So it was like, oh, cool. So I am actually doing all these things I don't even need to be doing. Awesome. I'm not going to do them anymore.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it freed me. It freed up my time. It freed up me mentally, and so it's been good. It's been I'm glad I went through it now for those reasons.
So it's really important for people to kind of take a step back and not compare themselves to what other people are doing, because you really don't know what's happening behind the scenes.
You really don't.
And just kind of take it one day at a time. And like, just to piggyback on what you just said is to think that, you know, just because you're online 10 hours a day, if you're offline, trust that everything is still working in the background on your benefit. And I know you had took a break and you're like, I'm sorry, I've been away for a while. I just, you know, kind of needed some time. Yeah. And we gave you the space. We didn't harass you or anything like
People
that.
Were great. Yes.
Yeah. And it's really good. I think it's important for you guys. And you mentioned this about losing your identity as Heather and not author Heather Hildenbrand, which is two different things. You're Heather first.
Right.
And I think it's important for people, not just readers and fans, but people to realize that you're Heather first. Yeah. And if we take that into consideration for people's books that we read or whoever we follow, then it helps take the pressure off of them too. So I think we play a part in that, from keeping you guys from being overwhelmed and burned out or harassing you. When is that book coming out? When is that book coming out? It's like they have a life too. Let them just go live. It's coming. Yeah. You know, go read an old book. Get reacquainted with Alex. I'm just saying.
Right.
And then Alex finally came back.
Right.
After I was that harassing person.
And that's why when you were saying that, I was thinking, well, the harassing actually helps me.
Okay, well, good, because I made sure that some people I gently persuade. That's the word I'm going to use, because harassment sounds kind of bad. Yeah. But I think we both connected. We liked Alex, and we knew that at some point his story was going to develop and come to fruition. And I just had to give you some time to decide how you were going to do it.
Right.
And so yay. And so then you have this whole series, like 7 books, 6 books.
6 books.
And so, and then, but you decided to do something a little different, and you were, which I think is pressure, you were releasing a book every month.
I know, but you know what the cool thing about that is? I was loving it.
Well,
I was so far from burnout, and that pace was insane this year, but I enjoyed every minute of it because I had my head right. Yeah. I had figured all my stuff out from before, from the burnout. I was still taking time I cut out all that stuff that didn't matter. Yeah. So even though I was writing this fast, that's all I was only doing the things that mattered. So I wasn't at my computer 12 hours a day anymore. Yeah. So I would write, but then I would go do yoga. I would go sit outside. I would, do stuff for me. That
was important because I remember you were like, oh, I'm done working for today. I'm going to go have some wine. Yes. I'm going to go meet up with my girlfriends. We're having, girls' night. Yeah. And I'm taking that into consideration too, because I don't want to get, I'm overworked, and so
I do know.
I want to be like that too, where it's like I can step away and I want to watch TV today. I don't want to read a book. I don't want to listen to audio. I want to do something that's just gonna make me feel good. Yeah. I want to go to Universal Studios that's across the street. Yeah. And ride a roller coaster and scream and have no voice tomorrow.
Right.
So that's really important. But I was like, man, she is really on top of it. And I think too, you were excited about the story and and you kind of had an idea of where you were kind of going with it. And the covers, they were all fantastic covers. They were they kind of all work together, and I like, again, I'm a big Alex fan, so I will be waiting for I'm waiting for all of them on audio.
I know,
because I'm gonna binge them so that I can listen to them all. Because I'll start one and then I'll be like, that's when I harass you.
I know, and I'm like, you're done already. It's audio. It takes hours.
I'm like, no, I just sat here and just listened to it all day, and now I have nothing. You want me to read the books? No, I need the audio. Come on, you know how this works.
I know. But I got an awesome narrator. But because she's awesome, she's doing like 50 projects at once all the time, of course. So
I know we have to wait it out. I'm trying to be patient. So what's next for you? What can we be looking forward to from Heather?
Well, I just released a book last week. It's another contemporary. It's a standalone, and that one was really fun because I decided to I think the whole having a pen name and then outing myself was great because it really helped evolve my brand. So I've become a lot more like adult writer, and people can expect that. And then with this contemporary, it was sort of like making that new branding complete. I was like, I want to just shock everybody and make sure they know what they're getting from Heather from now on.
Yes.
So the title of that one is O-Face.
Yes.
And so you know what you're getting. And it has a hot guy, hot abs on the front. Like, you know what you're getting.
The cover is really high.
Yeah.
We like the cover.
I'm a fan. It came out really good. So that was great because it was a really fun story to write, but it was also like, okay, my new brand is complete. You know, this is what people know that they're going to get from me now. So really, so next year, I don't know. I have a lot of ideas. Right now I'm working on my Havenwood Falls book.
Yes,
so I'm
congratulations.
Yes, I'm so excited to be writing in a shared world. It's so fun. So I'm writing that right now. That comes out in February. I'm doing an anthology, a shifter anthology with Nicole Zoltak, we were talking about.
Yes.
And a couple others. And that'll be out in May.
Okay.
And then, I don't know, I've got some ideas. And the fun part is, even though I stand by what I said, I wrote fast this year, but I felt good about it. I felt good. But I didn't read very much this year, and I missed that.
Yeah.
So we were talking about this earlier. For the next couple months, I just want to read. I have my Kindle is full. I bought a shitload of paperbacks at Shameless, and I'm going to read and I'm going to catch up on what my readers are reading. Yeah. Because I ask them all the time. I'm like, what are you guys reading? What looks good? And they tell me, and I add it to my list, and I haven't been able to check it out. So I want to read, I want to figure that out, and I want to let that fuel me for the ideas that I have.
Yeah, so. It sounds good. So you're going to finish out this year. You've released quite a few books. Yeah. You've done great with just rebranding and reestablishing Heather. Yeah. You look great. She's got got a lot of good stuff happening, and I'm so excited that we had this chance to sit down and chat and hang out and have a rocking good time. And so where are we going to see you signing next year? Well, you're going to be doing something this year. Well, are you doing it? You're done signing this year.
I have a local signing in November in Melbourne. Okay. So if anybody's local and wants to check that out, that info will be on my website. And then, I need to update my website with my events for next year.
That would be nice.
I'll make a mental note, Heather. Do that. And then next year, I'm doing Barbara Vay Appreciation Weekend, which is in April. Mm-hmm. And then I'm doing, I can't remember the order of things now.
You're doing Once Upon a Book in August. You're doing Pinned Con in September.
Oh, and Space Coast. I'm coming back to Florida for Space Coast. That's in Cocoa Beach in June. Okay. So that's a nice chunk of events that you're going to. It is. And I will see you at a couple of them. I know. I'm so excited.
I'm excited too. Well, Heather, thank you so much for sitting and chatting with me officially. And if anybody wants to follow you on social media or anything like that and find out more about your books, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
Yeah, so my website has all my links, heatherhildenbrand.com, but really, I'm on Facebook. That's where I go when I'm not supposed to be on social media. So find me on Facebook, Heather Hildenbrand. And I have a reader group on Facebook there that I probably post more in my reader group than I do publicly at this point.
And that's the Lovebirds.
Lovebirds reader group, yep. And that's a public group, so you can search that and just find that. And,
all right.
Yeah.
Good. Well, you guys make sure that you follow Heather and you come and hang out with us on Facebook. Heather is my ACE, so anytime you see me post something that's my ACE, that's Heather. That's her nickname I gave her. I don't know why.
I don't even remember where that came
I just like you, my ACE. It's like Ace Boon Coon, you know?
I don't know.
Well, that's what, you never heard that phrase before?
No.
Oh, gosh. But this is from the girl who listens to 90s rap.
Oh, my God. That's my dirty little secret.
I was like, oh, well, everybody knows, like, she had it blasted yesterday in our room. And I was like,
party music.
And I was like, what the heck is she with? I come in and Pac's on and Biggie and Bone Thugs and Harvey. Like, what did I just walk into a rap video?
Time Warp. Oh, my God.
I'm like, is she about to drop it too?
Oh, my God.
Let me get my dollars.
If I could be in a 90s rap video remake, oh, my God. I'm just putting that out to the universe.
We just need to have a party where it's like a 90s old school 90s party.
And then we just shoot it like a rap video.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because she's all like Salt and Pepper Shoop and stuff. And I'm all like, where's Journey and like White Snake or something? No. Total opposites.
But we met in the middle at Barbie Girl.
Oh yeah,
Barbie World.
I'm a Barbie girl.
Or Ace of Base.
Ace of Base. We did. We
in the
totally
middle.
rocked that song yesterday as they were playing something else. I don't know. I love it. I love it. Well, thank you again so much for being on this episode of Booking Around Town. Everybody, please be sure that you're following us on Facebook at Booking Around Town, and also on Instagram at Booking Around Town, and also on Twitter at Booking Around TWN. You will be able to find all of our podcasts on my website at www.theaudioflow.com. Or guess what? We're on iHeartRadio, we're on TuneIn, we're on iTunes and Google Play. So you can find us everywhere. So thank you for joining us as we booked around town in Orlando. Until next time, have a great week and keep booking.